He's making Aliyah, so yeah, that's what he's saying.
Mem Gimel.
We're on Mem Gimel.
If the two dots.
2 dots. Okay, so we'll go for the 2 dots.
Amid Aleph on the base.
Amid Aleph. Mem Gimel Amid Aleph. Amar Reb Shimon ben Lakish. About 10, 12 lines down. 2 dots at the end of the line. Says Amar.
Okay.
Amar Reb Shimon ben Lakish. Everybody got a place? Okay. Okay, so we need to do another introduction.
Yes,
Okay.
please. New class.
So welcome everyone to Tzama Nafshi, and we're here learning Gemora, Bava Kama Mem Gimel Amid Aleph, 43a of the first gate. Here in Tzama Nafshi, my soul thirsts. Ramemo Yerushalayim.
Amen.
And we welcome you to come also to Tzama Nafshi and Eretz Yisrael and Romema and join us and enjoy being in this wonderful chabura of people that are thirsting to learn
Amen.
and thirsting for Hashem. Okay, so who wants to read first? Yechiel, you want to read?
רב שמעון בן לקיש, שהוא שהמית את העבד שלו בכוונה פטור.
העבד שלו בכוונה.
מ-30 שקלים.
פטור מ-30 שקלים.
שנאמר כסף 30 שקלים ייתן לאדוניו. והשור יסקר כל זמן שהשור בסקירה, הבעלים משלמים 30 שקלים. ואין השור בסקירה, אין הבעלים משלמים 30 שקלים.
Period. Very good. Okay, so what does this say? Let's translate this statement of Reish Lakish, of Shimon ben Lakish. A shore, right? Shehemis esab eved. So
That killed the slave?
right, he killed a slave. He gored the slave and killed it, I suppose. Shelo b'kavanah. But he didn't do it with intent to kill. He didn't do it with intent to kill. How do we know whether the shore had kavanah? Well, we called them in to the Beis Din, and we said, hey! No, that's just a joke. Never heard of the talking shore. So how do we know? Shelo b'kavanah. How do we know that it was shelo b'kavanah? Well,
That's like we had beforehand, a page beforehand.
yeah.
But the kavanah is, if he did it with his horn, so no, but kavanah maybe fell on him.
Maybe push the wall.
Push the wall.
did
He
it with his
did it beforehand, maybe he fell on him. He slipped, not the kavanah.
Okay.
Maybe Kevin is the owner of the show. Maybe he didn't put the show there just.
You want to say the kavanah is going on the kavanah of the owner of the animal. So how would that work?
He had to. If he knew that the shore is one that goes, he had to do something to tie him down, or.
Oh, okay. Well, that's another point. How did the shore get out in order to do this altogether?
Yeah.
It must be that the owner didn't do too good of a job of guarding him from doing anything to somebody, whether it was with intent or not. If he would have been properly now.
Well, that would tell you whether there was intent.
Okay.
Or unless he was just careless.
Okay.
But if it was a short time, and it wasn't supposed to be a goring show at all, he didn't know. Nobody
Right.
knew. Nobody knew.
Right. Right. Are we talking here about an animal? First thing we have to say is like this. A shore, the Torah regards a shore as a docile animal. It doesn't need guarding, because an ordinary shore, your run-of-the-mill shore, doesn't go around goring people, doesn't go around injuring people, intending to kill people or injure them. So this animal, most likely, was a shore tam, and the owner had no obligation to guard the animal. And the animal killed an Eved. Shalom b'kavanah. The animal didn't do it with intent to kill the Eved. But nevertheless, what's the din over here according to Reish Lakish?
What's that?
He's pater v'shloshim shkolim. Now, ordinarily, if an animal would gore Eved and kill the Eved with intent to gore, then the owner would be liable to pay shloshim shkolim.
That's the worth of an Eved.
That's the how do we know, where do we get this 30 shkolim from?
The Torah.
The Torah says so explicitly. That's a fixed amount. That's a fixed amount that the Torah says. But if the animal gored and with intent to gore, and of course an animal which intends to gore is likely that very likely that it could kill a person. So if it did kill the person through that act of goring, so that's called that the animal killed the Eved b'kavanah. But if he didn't do it like that,
Whose covenant? I thought we said before it was the owner's covenant.
No, it's not the owner's covenant.
Huh?
It's the ox's covenant.
What?
no,
It's the ox's covenant.
The ox doesn't have.
Well, the idea is the ox, a case is, say an ox sees another ox there, and he goes to kill the other ox. Instead of the other ox, he misses the other ox, and he kills the person. So there was no covenant to kill the person, to kill the Eved, but there was covenant to do something, but it wasn't. It has to be covenant to do the act he said he was going to do. That happened. There was no covenant to kill the Eved.
But isn't there if a shore does that a certain number of times, they have a title of being a goring shore?
right.
So
Muad. That's a muad.
yeah, right.
We have categories of muad. We could have people who are
It's 3
muad
times,
for
no?
yeah, but it could be. We learned before this that it could be a muad for a certain kind of animal only for another ox, but not for a different type of animal. It doesn't have to be all animal. There's to be muad. You have to be muad for a specific type. We even had things with days of the week where the ox only was a Shabbos ox, only gored on Shabbos.
Okay, so true. You're raising good points about what does it mean with kavanah, but let's see the point that the Reish Lakish is trying to say over here. We're saying that the animal killed this Eved without kavanah. Without kavanah. Whether it means without kavanah to kill the Eved, whether it means it had no kavanah to kill altogether, it was a total accident. Whatever the interpretation is, but since it wasn't b'kavanah, so Reish Lakish says that there'll be an exemption from the 30 shkolim that the Torah requires the owner to pay for his animal that did that. And now, what's the source for this halacha? Shenemar, like it says in the pasuk, kesef shloshim shkolim yitain la'adonav. So he'll pay kesef in the amount, kesef, money, in the amount of shloshim shkolim, 30 shkolim, yitain ladonov, to his master, the one who owns the Eved. Ladonov, to his master, that owns the Eved, because the owner lost out now. He has no Eved. He used to have an Eved, now he has no Eved. So he lost out, so he's the one that gets the payment over here. Now, incidentally, what type of an Eved could we be talking about over here? We have two types of avodim over here. We have an Eved Kanani, we have an Eved Ivri. What type of an Eved was this pasuk be talking about?
If it's a Kanani, it has to be Kanani.
Has to be a Kanani.
Well, if it's an Eved
Because if
Ivri,
it's an Eved Ivri,
yes, they pay. It's be Tashlum.
Eved Ivri, is there any difference between an Eved Ivri? What is an Eved Ivri? Is he a Jew?
Yeah.
So if an animal kills a Jew,
The skila.
so that's the din. Whatever the din, so there's no difference between the din of an Eved Ivri, of a Jewish slave, who's working off an obligation, a debt to somebody that bought him, and any other Jew who's not an Eved. They're a Jew. Here we're talking not about a Jew, we're talking about an Eved Kanani. Eved Kanani is not a Jew. So he has a master. So the money would go to the master. It wouldn't go, in other words, to the relatives of the Eved. Eved Ivri is like another Jew. There would be a different payment of kofar. Oh, so now, because it says in the pasuk, Kesef Shloshim Shkolim, Yitain Ladona. So there's an obligation of 30 shkolim to pay to the master of this Eved. Vashor Yisakel, and the shore gets skila. So, we see over here, these two dinim are written side by side in the same pasuk, and there's an identity between them, according to Reish Lakish. So Reish Lakish concludes, based upon the reading of the pasuk, Kol Zman Shehashor B'Skila, as long as the shore has a din of skila on him, Habaylim Mishalmim Shloshim Shkolim. The owner of the animal will be chayav to pay Shloshim Shkolim to the owner of the Eved that was killed. Ein Ashor B'Skila, but if the shore that killed the Eved is not going to be given the skila, skila is stoning, a type of misa. But if
You stone the shore?
yeah, Ein Ashor B'Skila, if the shore is not going to get skila, if he's not going to get skila, so then also the other halacha won't apply either. Ein Abaylim B'Shamim Shloshim Shkolim. So now, what's the din if the shore killed this Eved Shelo B'Kavanah? Is he chayav skila that shore, or is he not chayav skila? Does it make a difference whether he did it b'kavanah or not?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a difference. If he did it b'kavanah, what's the din?
It's skila.
Then the shore is niska. Then he gets skila. Then he's executed with the execution of skila. But if he didn't do it b'kavanah, even though he killed the Eved, he doesn't get niskal. Doesn't get niskal. So he stays around, and the Eved is no longer here. That's the din.
occurs to why they give the shore the most chamor way to die, the skila. There's all the other ways they can kill, like shechted, and why does he get like a punishment, like a person would get a punishment? I never thought about that. It's very.
Okay.
How do you stone an ox?
Okay, so this is interesting. According to Reish Lakish, even though he killed the Eved, he's not going to be executed this shore.
Not executed by sword.
What?
Not executed by stoning.
Oh, but yeah, anything will happen to him? No, nothing that happens to him? What happens to this shore? He had mis shelo b'kavanah. He killed the Eved shelo b'kavanah, without intention. Let's take a look over here at the. But that seems to be what the Reish Lakish is saying over here, right? Because Reish Lakish is saying this animal that killed shelo b'kavanah, without intent to kill this Eved, the din is that the owner will not have to pay the 30 shekel. The owner is putter on the 30 shekel. And how do and what's his source, Reish Lakish? He says the pasuk. I see that's what the pasuk says, because the pasuk lists that when the animal kills the Eved, so these two things apply. These two dinim apply. First of all, the din of skila on the animal, and second of all, the din of shloshim shkolim that the owner of the animal has to give to the owner of the shore. So Reish Lakish says here, there's no skila because the animal did it without kavanah, and if so then there's not going to be a din of shloshim shkolim either. They go together, according to Reish Lakish. Okay. Rachel, you want to read the Rashi over here? Rashi.
Sure, after the two dots. The last one in the line, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. About nine lines from the wide lines.
Oh, Ein Ashor B'Skila, Ein Habaylim Mishalmim Kofer. Oh, that's Kofer. We're not talking about Kofer.
There's Rashi. There's the Rashi before that. Sure, it's not sure. The last word on the line. Sure.
The last word on the line is sure.
It's about 3-4 lines from where you were reading. Up,
Right.
Up.
Right, okay.
Sure, that's the first one. Everybody got it? Sure, shelo, b'kavanah. Yeah? Sure, shelo, b'kavanah. Patur miskila. Sure that no kavanah patur. It didn't have kavanah to kill. Is patur. Patur.
Miskila.
Miskila. Miskila. No kill miskila.
How do we know this?
That was learned in the Mishnah, the Kaman Daf Mem Dalit, Amud Aleph, Mitkaven, Arog, the intention to kill, the Behema, the intent to kill an animal, the Chule, etc. Ve'yafila Yalfinan La Gemora, and it's learned out in the Gemora, Kemitat Be'alim, Ach Mitat Ashur.
Huh.
Balim maybe.
What's that mean?
What that means? We taught the Balim, the way a person would be killed, or the Balim would be killed.
Right.
I guess if a person or a man killed and didn't have intent to kill, he
right.
also would be patur.
Right, he'll be
Like-
putter on the
like-
Misa.
Like him, so is the shore and the animal that goes without intent will be patur. The same way. I guess that's what I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, so this is, Rashi says, so this is the din over here, that the shore that killed without kavanah is putter from skila. And Rashi tells us what is the source for that din. How do we know that a shore that kills an Eved without kavanah to kill him is potter on the skila. How do we know that? Our Gemora doesn't say anything about that. So Rashi says, indeed, it's a Mishnah that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen this Mishnah yet. The Mishnah is on Mem Daled, Amid Aleph. And you go about 2/3 of the way down, and you see the Mishnah over there. Shor Shahaya Mischachech B'Kosel Nafol Al Ha'adam. So here you have a shor who needed to have his back scratched. So how does a shor scratch his back?
His tail.
He goes to China and buys a back scratcher, right? No, you can't do that.
Rubs it on the
You
wall.
can't go to China. So what does he do? He's got a better answer. Mischatech b'kosel. He goes to the nearest wall and he rubs his back against the wall. And the wall scratches his back. So that's what this shor did. Shor shahaya mischatech b'kosel. Nofel ala odem. And then this wall fell down. Ala odem. The wall fell down on the Adam. That's case number 1 of the Mishnah. And presumably, the person died as a result of having the wall fall on him. So here's a case that the Mishnah says where the shor did not have kavanah to kill the person. He only had kavanah to get his back scratched. But as a direct result of his doing that, the person died. Case number 2, Niskaven laharog esa behema. He intended to kill another animal, laharag esa adam, but he ended up killing a person. Okay. And it says, what does this say? He had intention to kill a Nakri. Our Girsa says Kanani, but the Oz Vahadar says the correct Girsa is Nakri. And then he ended up killing Yisrael. Failing, Haragis Kaima, all these cases are potter. So until he has intent to kill a Jew, a living, full-fledged, existing Jew, so he's going to be potter. That's what it says in the Mishnah. Potter from what? Potter from... From what?
Rashi says Patanimisa.
Where's the Rashi here?
There was a Rashi that says Patanimisa right after the first wide Rashi.
You sure that's the Rashi on the Mishnah?
No, but it was it was a Rashi there because it says the how low he could because he didn't intend.
Oh boy. Okay.
Starts in Gemara, right? It says
He's a Hebrew potter.
Gemara starts
The
in
Gemora asked this question, huh? Amar Shmuel potter mimisa
There it is.
v'chayev b'kofeh. That's what Shmuel says about this Mishnah. The Ptur is from Misa, but there's a Chiyuv Kofir. Because here we're talking about a Jew, and the din of a Jew is not Shloshim Shkolim, the din is Kofir. Kofar is a different value. That we make some type of appraisal of the value of the person. So it's not a fixed value of 30 shkolim like it is with Eved Knan. Okay. So Rashi brought us to this Mishnah over here, which is really talking not about an Eved, it's talking about a Yisrael. So we read the Mishnah, Niskavin laharog es a behema, in all those cases. And then Rashi mentions Yalfinin lo Gemora. We learn in the Gemora later on, Kamisas Bailim Kak Misas Ashor. And that is on Mem Dalet Amid Beis.
So Senabi says that's Kofar.
So that's where the Gemara learns this. What?
The Senabi says it's Kofar.
Yeah. But, yeah, here Rashi the Gemara on Mem Dalet Amid Beis. The Gemara also there's two dots over there. It goes on the word Patur of the Mishnah. It's Kavan Larogas a Behema Baharagas a Adam. All those cases Patur. So the Gemara is Medayik.
Where are you now?
The Gemara? In
Yeah.
the middle somewhere?
Here.
Patur?
Like about 20 lines down.
First word is Patur?
First word is Niskavin Laharog as a Behema. Laharog, it's one of the captions in between the two dots. See where I am? So the Gemara says over here,
Yeah, okay.
the Gemara is quoting this phrase from the Mishnah. He had kavanah to kill a behema, the animal, but he ended up killing an adam. So that would be a patur. Says the Gemara, "Hanis kabin laharog ezeh, laharog ezeh chayav." Let's listen to look Reb Shimon. Oh, that's not what I want. Wait a second. Yeah, later on, just a second. You have to be patient. So the Gemara was medayek from the Mishnah that only in the event that he did not have intention to kill a person will there be a patur. He had intent to kill an animal. He ended up killing a person. Then there's going to be a patur. What happens if he intends to kill person number 1, but he ends up killing person number 2? The Gemara is medayek over there. That's what the Mishnah says. The Mishnah that's what the Mishnah holds. Then the Gemara says, oh, but that Mishnah that says that, oh, Reb Shimon, it's not like Reb Shimon. Our Mishnah is not like Reb Shimon. Sanya, like we learned in the Brisa, Reb Shimon Omer, afilu niskaben la'arog gezeh, v'har gezeh, potter. He's potter in that case also, according to Reb Shimon. According to Reb Shimon, if he intends to kill person number 1 and he kills person number 2, he's potter. So says Reb Shimon. It's not like our Mishnah.
It's talking about a person that kills or a shur that kills? Person? Well, it doesn't matter, actually. Well, we learned from the person on the shore.
Well, what was the Mishnah talking about? Mishnah was talking about a shore.
Sure, okay.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Says the Gemara, my time at Reb Shimon. What's the reasoning of Reb Shimon that he should be potter this shore? Just because he didn't intend for this person in particular. Amar Kra, because the pasuk says Hashor Yisakel v'gam balav yumas. The shore will be executed with the execution of stoning. Gambalav yumas, and also its owner, yumas. Even though the Torah says yumas, the owner is not going to be executed because there's no such thing as a person being executed for something that his animal did. But it does say yumas in the pasuk. So what do we learn from the fact that the Torah says yumas?
It's kofar.
Says the Gemora, "K'misas bailim kach misas hashor." The Torah is making a unity between the din of the owner of the animal, and who is a person, and a shore. What's the commonality between them? Ma bailim, just like the bailim, we see ad shemechavin le, until he intends to kill this person, he will be potter, according to Reb Shimon. So if person number 1 intends to kill person number 2, and he ends up killing person number 3, according to Reb Shimon, he will be potter. So says Reb Shimon. Now, where do we know that at? Where do we know that from? That seems to be a given according to Reb Shimon. Since that is so, though, we're using this pasuk here to tell me that same din will apply to a shore. How do we know that? How do we know that the din of the shore will resemble the din of the Adam? That's based upon this pasuk, Ashor Yisakel, V'gam Balav Yumas. The unity that we see that's being drawn here between the Misa of the shore and this that says Gam Balav Yumas. So ma bailim ad mechavim le, just like by the bailim, he won't be executed until we see he has kavanah for that person. Afshor, so to the shore. Nami ad mechavim le, until he has kavanah for that person specifically. Then the Gemora asks the question: bailim gufayum minalim. How do we know the bailim himself has that din? Okay, but that's not our discussion right now. But the Gemora does say that one as well. But that's what Rashi is pointing out over here. That a shore, he won't get skila, he won't be executed the shore until he has kavanah for that person. Until he has kavanah for that person. He has to have kavanah. He has to have kavanah. He has to have kavanah. And that's that. Why? Why is he? Because his din is the same as the din of a person. And a person, he won't be executed until he kills with kavanah. So to an animal, he won't be executed until he has kavanah.
But a person doesn't have mod, doesn't have a thing that's called mod. Unless you, when you write down your an animal does has something called a mod, that we put a X on him that he's there's a difference.
Well, Adam is muad la'olam. He's always muad. There's no such thing as a person who's the first time that he kills, he's chayav misa. Yeah. We don't say that. Yeah. Right. Adam is muad la'olam. He's regarded as dangerous from the word go. He's muad la'olam. Okay, so that was the Rashi. That was the Rashi. Now we go to the next Rashi. Eina shor b'skila, eina bailim b'shalim kofer.
Which one are we going? Which one?
Now we go to the Rashi on Mem Gimel Amud Aleph. The very next Rashi, Eina shor b'skila.
We didn't read that in the Mishnah. We didn't read that in the Gemora yet.
Oh, right. That's not really our Rashi. We're not talking about kofir. Okay, so we'll go in the order.
Go ahead.
So that's the statement of Reish Lakish. Again, what is Reish Lakish called? A shore that kills an Eved Kanani without kavanah to kill him. Let's say a case that everybody agrees. I don't think there's any machlekes tanoim on the case. If he's scratching his back on the wall, and the wall falls on the Eved Kanani, and he dies, that's a case of shalom b'kavanah, according to everybody, that the shore will be patur from skila. So if there's no din skila, so now what about the din of shloshim shkolim? He's also going to be patur. That's the Hiddush that Reish Lakish is learning out from this pasuk. If there's not going to be a din skila on the animal, there won't be a din shloshim skolim that the owner has to pay to the owner of the eved. That's the din of Reish Lakish. Okay. So let's go further in our Gemora over here. Everybody got that so far? So now we're going to go further. Omer Rabba. Who wants to read? Roy, you want to read?
Killed three men unintentionally. You have to kill the three men unintentionally to dissolve the kofar.
The din of a ben chorin is to pay kofer if the shore kills b'kavanah. And Rabbi says, but if he kills shalom b'kavanah, so there will be a patur on the kofer. There will be a patur on the kofer. Okay, let's go further.
What are you defining kofar as? That means atonement, no?
Yeah.
So how is it applied here?
The payment, in other words, if a person's shore kills a Jew and the animal had kavanah to kill, so there's a payment which the owner has to pay to the heirs of the Jew that was killed, and it's called kofer. It's called kofer.
What's the amount?
The amount is the Bezdin makes an appraisal of the value of the person if he would be sold in the shuk.
It's not knas?
Nizak.
Oh, nizak.
The machaber batot.
Kofa is not a knas.
It's a kapara.
It's a kapal.
We had a sugi about this. Yeah. So in other words, that's the din, that there's a din kofer that's paid when it's a ben chorin. When it's an eved kanani, then there's a din called shloshim shaleven. And the Torah says specifically, it's always shloshim. We don't do any appraisal of the value of the eved. It doesn't have anything to do with the value of the eved if he'd be sold in the shuk. There's a flat rate that's listed in the Torah of shloshim shel eved. That's what it is. So here we're talking about a payment of kofer. So here he killed a ben chorin. Shalom b'kavanah, says Rabbah, he's potter on the kofer. Why is he potter on the kofer? Because it's a pasuk, shenemar. You want to read the pasuk? Right. Sure.
Sure. Yisrael, Adam, Yoma, Kofer, ox shall be stoned, and even stoned shall die. But when kofar shall be assessed against him, Kol, Zaman, Ashor, the Skila, Alim, Shalomim, Kofar. When kofar shall be assessed against him, whenever the ox is punished with stoning, the owner pays kofar. He doesn't get killed. And Ashur, Kira, and Baalim, Shalomim, kofar. But if the ox isn't punished with stoning, the owner doesn't pay kofar.
Right, so this is a similar din that Rabbah is saying, similar to the din of Reish Lakish. Rabbah is saying the same. He's saying here you're talking about a shor that kills a ben horn, so the payment is kofar. So if the shor killed without kavana, unintentionally, he was scratching his back on the wall, and the wall fell on the Jew. So there won't be a payment of kofar. If there won't be a payment of kofar, if the animal won't be killed because he did not kill with the intent, he was scratching his back on the wall, so the owner won't have to pay kofar either. Now, where do we see that? That's what we see from the pasuk, says Rabbah, because the pasuk makes these two halachas a unity, according to Rabbah. So if one of those halachas is not going to be applicable, so then the other halacha will not also be applicable. So that's the same thing, really, that the Reish Lakish did with the other pasuk in regard to the Eved. If the animal won't be executed with skila, so there won't be a payment of shloshim shel Eved either. Okay. So now we got a Rashi over here. Ein hashor b'skila, ein habaylim b'shamim kofar. Yitzchak, you want to read?
The Rashi?
The Rashi?
Where am I?
Rashi, Tzibur Maskil, Ein Hashor B'skila. Anybody who has to leave, they should leave. It's 12:30. You have to catch a bus.
Ein hashor
Skila.
Ein hashor b'skila.
Thank you.
Ve'ein
Baruch Hashem.
ha'balim b'shamim kofar. If there is no it wasn't killed.
Right. If he's not chayav skila, he's not due to be executed, the animal.
And also the owner doesn't have to pay.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
But, the owner
Kak Samaya. As I put in Samaya. Hanukkah Samaya.
Soon.
it's you.
Rebbe is Reish Aleph. I suppose that's Rebbe Eliezer. And Aleph on his base.
Will we continue in Rashi or we don't?
Yeah, let's continue in Rashi.
אין דיני אלה במתחים.
Eliezer de Amar Le'el Ein Dinei אלא במסכוון להרוג.
להרוג. כפלוני...
אין דיני אלא במסכוון להרוג. Holy God. Oh, Rashi's pointing out that Rabbi Eliezer disagrees with this.
And what?
Rabbi Eliezer disagrees. Polygale. He disagrees.
That you don't kill.
Midit starich kra lemifterei betam shelo b'kavana. Cloud the mued shelo b'kavana. Patur mimisa b'chayev b'kofet. Oh. You know what? This is a good Rashi to skip. Rashi's talking about Shitas Rebbe Eliezer on Mem Aleph Amid Beis. Now we haven't seen in quite some time. And it's a complicated point over here that doesn't... He's saying over here that Rabbi Eliezer, he says that from the fact that the Torah needed Storich Kro and Mifterei Batam Shelo B'Kavana, from the fact that we see the Torah needed to write an exemption for an animal which was a tam, which gored without kavanah, B'chlal, the muad, Shelo B'Kavana, Patur Mimisa B'chayev B'Kofir.
But a moed is, how can you say Shelo Kavano when it's a moed? Isn't it the Kavana because he is a moed?
Let's see here. Patur Mimisa Machlal the muad Shelo B'Kavana. In other words, how do you have a muad that gores Shelo B'Kavana? I'll tell you. Muad just means that we've seen that 3 times the animal did gore with intent to gore. That makes him a muad.
But
Now,
that's a kavana too.
what happens-
If he had intent, that's a kavana.
Now, once he becomes a muad with those 3 times, now on the 4th time, he's walking along and he decides that his back is very scratchy, so he needs to scratch his back against the wall. So even though he's a muad, but right now, because he's gored 3 times,
So that's not kavana.
so now now he wakes up and he decides he needs his back scratched. So he goes to the wall and he scratches his back. And just at that time, somebody comes walking along, a Jew comes along, and the wall falls on him. So that's called a muad that killed Shelo B'Kavana. Yeah. That's a muad that killed Shelo B'Kavana. So what's the din of a muad Shelo B'Kavana, according to Rabbi Eliezer?
אדום איתה בחייב בכופר. חייב בכופר. Starts to play
The
kofar.
muad Shelo B'Kavana is pater from Misa, but nevertheless he will be chayiv in kofar. Because he is a muad, and he did kill this person. And it doesn't matter that he did Shelo B'Kavana. So what does that mean? That means that according to Rabbi Eliezer, we have a case where even though the animal will not be killed, but the owner will have to pay kofar. Oh, so you see that opinion of Rabbi Eliezer is not like the opinion of Rabbah, of our Gemora here on Mem Gimel Amid Aleph. Because Rabbah says, no, there cannot be any such thing like that. If the animal is not niskal, so then there will not be a din of kofar according to Rabbah. Because Rabbah learned from this pasuk here, that, where is this pasuk over here?
It's no double jeopardy.
Shnemar, Hashor Yisakel, the shore will get gored. The Gambal of Yumas. What does it mean, Gambal of
The
Yumas?
shore will get stoned.
Shore will get stoned, right?
Not gored.
Right? The shore that's stoned will get skila. The Gambal of Yumas. And his owner will have to pay kofir. Yumas doesn't mean he'll be killed. It means that he'll have to pay kofir. So Rabbi learned from that pasuk. Oh, so when does the owner have to pay kofir? When the animal is niskal. Oh, but if the animal's not niskal, so then he won't pay kofir. They go together.
You mean you gotta weigh it before you kill it?
He killed without kavanah.
Yeah.
He scratched his back on the wall, and the wall fell down on the guy. He's patur from skila. Everybody seems to agree that he's patur from skila. The question is, what about the kofir now? What's the din of the kofir? So we have a machlokes over here between Rabbah and Rabbi Eliezer, says Rashi. Our Gemora here is quoting Rabbah, who says they go together. Ashor niskal, the gambal of yumas. They go together. He'll be niskal the animal, and the owner, got to pay kofir. Oh, what happens when he won't have to be niskal the animal because he was scratching his back? He wasn't trying to kill the guy.
There's no kofir.
There won't be any kofir. No skila, no kofir. That's what Rabbah holds. But Rashi is pointing out, you should know, remember what we learned on the Gemora and Mem Aleph on the base, that Rabbi Eliezer said that there could be a din of kofir, even if we don't kill the animal. Even if he was just scratching his back, we're not going to kill him because he was just scratching his back. He doesn't get skila the animal, but the owner, he'll have to pay kofir. Machlokes, Rabbah and Rabbi Eliezer. Okay.